So when did you actually start training?
I started training in mixed martial arts with my boy Eric Case. Rest in peace. I don't know if you've ever heard that name, Eric. He was a big part of the martial arts journey that I went on in like maybe 2008 or 7. He invited me over to his house, and I was playing football then. I was, a little bit bigger. I played defensive end, and he, Eric, he was one of those guys who was like, okay, well, I hear Tivon's pretty tough. Let's see if he can put on the gloves. So he invites me over to his house, right? And then there's 2, 3 other guys there, and then there's Eric. Then he's like, okay, you want to fight? And I was like, sure, yeah, I love fighting. I hear you guys do mixed martial arts. Let's fight.
Yeah.
So the first guy comes out. He's probably like 160 pounds.
Is this just like in someone's basement or something?
This is in Eric's basement. This is in Eric's basement. Similar,
Similar to where we're at right now.
And the first guy comes out. You could tell he has a little jiu-jitsu training, maybe not so much strike training, but he's like maybe 160 pounds soaking wet. So he throws like this little lazy punch out. He was cool. Like gave me like never back down kind of. I was like, cool.
Yeah.
He's like just real calm because he loves fighting. So I went over there and I uppercutted the shit out of him. Boom! Hit him real hard. He looks up at the ceiling. His nose starts bleeding. Then I hit him with his left hand. I'm sitting there looking at him. He's smiling. He goes like this, and he's like, hold on. He said, hold on. I said, oh, you done? He said, yeah, I'm done. So he packs it up. Eric's like, oh, man, that was awesome. Yeah. Eric's like, all right, cool. Do you want to fight me now? And I was like, oh, here's the setup.
Yeah.
So I'm like, sure. Now, the last guy, he didn't put on any pads or anything like that. Eric, I see him over there. He's putting on these shin pads. I'm like, what the hell does he need those for? Yeah. Not only that, he's over there warming up. I'm like, what's going on? He's getting some mitts. Cuckoo, he hits his guy's mitts real fast. I had never seen mitt training before. So we started out in the middle of the basement, and he looks at me, and then I look over at his friend, and he's like, go! And I look back at Eric, and Eric kicks me in the chin so fast. Bow! So fast. I mean, the fastest I've ever been hit in my life, and that's including love you, mom, but, them quick swipes. You know what I mean? Those don't do it swipes. Came out and rocked me right under the chin. Boom! I'm staring up at the light like this. And I'm just sitting there for a second. I think that's the first time I've ever seen that white, that white light. They're talking about. This, like the last time I had seen that white light was probably when I was wrestling for this sword from these 2 twins when I was like maybe like 9 at the bowling alley, and they fell back on me and I knocked myself out. Remind me of that. That's funny that you go back to things like that. Yeah. So then I come down. He's looking at me and he's like, "You ready to keep going?" I'm like, "Sure." And so we keep going, and I'm throwing punches. He's just out there dodging the punches. Eric's a real martial artist, man. He's dodging punches. And then I try to connect one. I think he probably gets underneath on the arm somewhere, and he wraps me up. And then we end up on the ground, and then he goes to like mission control almost, and then he goes with the leg across the throat here, and he starts squeezing. Go plotting. And he's squeezing it down, and then I'm like, oh, tap out. Yeah. I was like, man,
you choke me with your foot.
Yeah. Tap out. I was like, man, you're really good. And he was like, you know what? Pretty good too. If you wanted to, you could really do this. And that's
a great sales pitch.
Yeah.
Right?
Great sales pitch. I'm probably what, 3rd, 4th, 15?
Okay.
Yeah, because we're
like freshman in high school.
Yeah.
Something like that.
Sophomore. No, yeah. Freshman in high school.
Okay.
No. Sophomore in high school. So probably 15.
Yeah, 15, 16.
Yeah, I'm like 15. Because I didn't start my freshman year in football. And then I went on to starting last 3 years of it because of how hard I worked and I wanted to play. Uh-huh. But looking back on it, I wish I had just gotten into martial arts
sooner.
Yeah.
Because
we all wish we would have done it sooner, right?
I was so in love with football. But I was influenced by one of my friends. And that's another thing I tell the kids: don't listen to the kids at school. Listen to your parents, and then hear that from an older person. You're like, okay, sure. No, oh man, I wish I would have listened to my parents and just kind of been true to me, who I was then. Because back then I was in the anime stuff. I was building Gundam models in my room, staying out of the street. Next thing I know, I get influenced to go outside, stop building Gundam models, and I'm getting in trouble with weed and guns. No guns, not in school. No, that was later. But no. So basically, yeah, I owe a lot to Eric, man, and I miss him every day. I wish we had hung out more.
So he passed away?
He passed away, man. He had gotten into an accident. he was doing well for himself. He was actually doing like nursing and stuff like that because I think he told me one time he got paid. His last fight was he got paid like $11,000 for the fight, and but he didn't need to because he was like going through nurse school and he had like an extra money added on from the school that he went to. You know what I mean? He was like flying him and his girl out to Japan, and him and his buddy, my boy Brian Boas. Shout out Brian Boas. They were good friends. You know what I mean? That's why I would say that I didn't hang out with him as much as I would have liked to. I wish I had. You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, he was definitely.
So then Eric influenced you to go join a gym, or
Eric Case told me because
Or did you join the gym that he was at?
no, so the gym he went to was Hit Squad. Hit Squad had closed.
Hit Squad closed down. Yeah.
Actually,
It's actually a really good podcast that I just listened to this past week. I don't know if you know Josh McKinney.
Josh McKinney, yeah, I know that name.
He's a jiu-jitsu black belt. He's under our affiliation, the best black belts in town for sure. And him and my coach Kyle Watson, because Kyle was the head jiu-jitsu coach at the squad, and he lived on campus. And they just did like a 2.5-hour podcast. They called it the rise and fall of the greatest gym of all time. And it's all about like, the Hit Squad, and they tell all these like funny stories. And it was, so if you're out there looking for some,
because he told us some of that. Unfortunately, we couldn't air that podcast.
Yeah, because we had some
audio issues.
Yeah. Oh no!
Oh yeah, we're gonna get him back on. But yeah,
but oh man, I was heartbroken.
Yeah,
so
this was
my my coach. Like I'm one of the guys I look up to more than anything. And then of course that was one of the episodes that
the audio
had
does
the audio
issues,
just like wasn't, you could barely even hear him on the mic.
This thing plugged in.
Yeah,
we're good. We're rolling.
Yeah, we're good. That's why we wear the headphones now. And I mean, So, but anyway, he was at the Hit Squad. Where did you go?
So I actually didn't start training until 2016-ish or so, like the end of 2016 at an official gym. My father had passed away from pancreatic cancer in like 2015. And it's okay, man. It's a part of life, dude. And John Jones, actually, his dad had a good quote on that when his sister passed away. And because my dad, he was real devout in the church. Like, if you ever think of somebody talk about like a righteous person, like a really good guy, my dad was
That's
him.
awesome.
Like, it wasn't like, he had his moments behind closed doors type stuff. No, like, I mean, 24/7 good guy, didn't smoke like that, didn't drink. I think the only time I saw him smoke anything was when my Uncle Mario came over and we're on the porch. And he just took a cigar, smoked it with him. The only thing I've ever seen him drink, Sabaru beer from like Japanese Garden back when it was over. You remember Japanese Garden? Man, Japanese Garden was so good. But that's it.
Okay.
Other than that, he was in the church. He's in the military. He was solid, stern, mentally strong person. And I've never met anyone like that before.
Well, I'm sure as a fighter, you have to be mentally strong. You feel like that you've learned a lot from your dad about all that, like being mentally strong?
Man, the 20% that I feel like my father is the only reason I can sit here and tell you hilariously that I would still get elbowed in the face and watch the Joker again. Like I could just be under that guy getting elbowed because, not only the fact that I was super comfortable in there, super comfortable. I'm super comfortable in any fight because of how relaxed he would be in my life. Like, just watching his poise in certain situations.
Has he gotten to see you? Was he around to see you fight?
No. So actually, he didn't get to see any of my fights, and one of the reasons also why I wanted to see this through is because I knew that I wanted to start fighting. I felt like I could do something fighting. He wanted me on his deathbed. He was looking at me one time, and he asked me about the Air Force. He was like, "What about the Air Force? Why don't you do the Air Force?" And I told him, my dying father, well, I think I want to do something else. And instead of being upset or anything like that, he looked at me like he trusted me. He said, "Okay." You know what I mean?
Do it. Yeah. That's awesome.
It makes you happy.
Granted, if I had told him, I was like, I'm trying to get in the cage with my underwear on, beat people up for money, he might have been like, nah, son. You need to get your ass in the military, son. But, just to me personally, that brings a lot of motivation to me because, again, God forbid, if I don't get paid a lot from fighting, I plan on doing other things to do with fighting that's going to get me paid. The MMA community, the fight community, the jiu-jitsu community, which is included.
Yeah.
Because we love guys. It's a huge community, man, and people are interested in it. There's money in it everywhere.
Oh, for sure.
And,
Yeah.
you know, and if you're passionate about anything,
And just with how much it's blown up within the last handful of years, it's
Mhm.
Yeah,
insane.
I mean, ever since 2020, I feel
Yeah.
like, you know, with the UFC being one of the only like sports organizations that continued to
During COVID.
operate through
Yeah.
COVID, like that, I feel like that's where I saw. I mean, because I've always been a fan, but that's when I started to notice a lot more people like really get into MMA and and UFC and then over the last several years, like that's translated to jujitsu, and like I'm seeing a lot of people. I mean,
Well, I mean,
just
look
the
at it.
jiu-jitsu community is
Dana
just
White's
blown
wanted
up.
to bring in
Yeah, like the grappling
grappling
competitions.
competitions and
Yeah.
jiu-jitsu competitions.
Sweet.
to
God
the-
bless Uncle Dana.
Yeah,
Yeah.
God bless Uncle Dana,
Yeah.
man, dude. He's, I mean, I mean, if there's a Mount Rushmore for MMA, he's most certainly on it.
For sure.
Yeah,
Oh,
man.
absolutely.
He's smart because he knew team was.
Yeah.
You know, you gotta know who constantly.
Mhm.
If you don't have the right people around you, sitting here not trying to accept help from people who are good people willing to help you, you're not gonna make it, in my opinion. Just how it is.
Oh,
you know.
absolutely. And that's anything.
It's anything.
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 Yeah.
Yep.
For sure.
And you know, Dana, I saw one of those clips yesterday about him talking about entrepreneurship. How he had said that you got these guys talking about they want to work for themselves and doing this fucking, but they don't have the backbone to realize there's not going to be any Christmases. You know, when
Yeah.
you're working at first, there's no Christmas when you're
Yeah, there's
working
no
for
Christmas
yourself.
break.
There's no birthday.
I don't get a winter break.
Yeah,
You know,
there's
we
no
don't get a
spring
winter
break.
break. We're working all, you know, like, yeah, I might not work on Christmas, but you know, I'm sure the day after I'll have something to do. That's
Yeah,
just part of it.
I'm going to Florida on leaving Saturday, and I'll be back the Friday afterwards, and I'm just going to be working from a better location.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
It just doesn't you don't turn it off.
And that's why when people are like, "Oh, Tivon, you taking a break after that?" I'm like, "You think I'm taking a break after an ass kicking?"
Yeah.
First of all, as long as the noodle's not rocked,
Yeah, I was going to say.
we in the gym.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? We working out. And even if the noodle is rocked, all right, we'll take it slower. Like,
Right.
So like,
there's no reason to miss work. You know, this life is physical pain,
Mhm.
metaphorical pain, financial pain,
Yeah.
mental pain.
Right.
And if you can't deal with it, looking for a safe corner, a safe space.
You're in the wrong
you're in the
sport.
wrong sport.
Sport.
Yeah.
You definitely are in the wrong sport.
Yeah, for
There's
sure.
no hiding.